Perhaps no chapter of the Gospel is as well known as that of the 15th chapter of Luke's Gospel, sometimes referred to as the Gospel in the Gospel, because it contains the good news that was a key message of the Christ, namely finding some precious person or some precious thing that had been feared lost. The Pharisees were upset with the fact that Jesus was eating with people whom the Pharisees considered to be sinners, namely anyone who did not strictly adhere to Jewish law. Jesus responded by telling the parable, which is commonly called the parable of the prodigal son, which is more correctly the parable of the forgiving and loving Father. We know the story. A man had 2 sons. According to Jewish law, if a man had 2 sons, 2/3 of his estate was to be given to the elder son, and the remaining third was given to the younger son. A parent knows his or her children better than the children know themselves. The father was almost certain that his younger son would not be judicious in how he used his estate. Despite that fact, that the younger son was somewhat callous and insensitive to his father, the father gave him his share. We know the next part of the story. The younger son was immature and did not know how to take care of himself. He squandered the money and had to take jobs just to exist. He even took a job feeding pigs, which would be a humiliation for a Jewish man. The younger son returned home in embarrassment, willing to become a day laborer. The younger son was ready to beg his father for a job, but he was never given the chance. Why? Because the father had been looking out the door for him and saw him in the distance. The father ran to his son and embraced him, thrilled that his son, who was lost, had returned to the father. Now there is another significant part about the older son being furious over his father's welcome of the younger brother. But I suggest we focus on the image of the forgiving father who ran to welcome his younger son back. He ran. He didn't walk or even wait to have his son come to him. He ran. In the Catholic Church, the 4th Sunday of Lent is traditionally called Laetare Sunday, translated as Rejoice Sunday. The Father in the Gospel showed what joy is. He didn't even think about forgiving his son because he loved his son so much. Of course he loved his son. We all make mistakes. If we have offended someone and realize a break in a relationship, as the younger son did, we need to practice humility and ask for forgiveness. If we have been offended or hurt by someone we love, we need to be like the forgiving Father and take the first step towards reconciliation. Above all, in this penitential season of Lent, let's not forget the forgiveness of a loving God, a Father who forgives us and thereby gives us real reason to rejoice. Have a blessed week.